Welcome everyone to Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. Today there is no singing. I will not sing for all of us, but we do have our friends from India, SMVEC. Welcome. Today I would like to say three things. The first, as the SAA, I would like to say three things. First is we are a Toastmaster club based in Oregon, and so this Roseburg speaker and storytellers always there. Our meeting is every Monday, 7 a.m. Oregon time, and all guests are welcome. Second, Toastmaster International was established in Santa Ana, California in 1924 for all of us. Or is there any guest here? And we, as a Toastmaster organization, we are already 96 years old as an organization. And here we learn how to communicate better and become a better leader. The third thing is very simple. As we are doing this meeting in Zoom platform, we want to encourage everyone to mute our microphone unless we want to speak. So let's begin, and I will proceed to our president, Tiger.
Thank you, Miss SAA, IU, and welcome all our guests from India. I just want to say to Jim, this is an unusual situation because we have about 7 or 8 guests from a club in India. We are going to have an official joint meeting next week. So this is quite an honor to have all these people here. We do have elections coming up. I've spoken to all the members and have found out that there are a number of people that do want to be officers for our next term, which will start July 1st. So let's go ahead. We're all friends here. We're going to do this very casual. So this is how it will work. First of all, I'm going to introduce our soon to be immediate past president. Thank you. My name is Don. I am soon to be the immediate past president, and I will conduct this election. This is going to work very simply. We will go through the different offices. If you want to be an officer, just say, yes, I want to nominate myself. If two people want to both be for the same position, then each person will have 2 minutes to explain to us why they want to be that officer, and then we'll have a vote. So let's start out with the most important position, the position that establishes the culture of the club, the president. Who would like to nominate themselves to be president for the next term for Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers?
I do, sir.
All right, we have IU who has stepped up to be our president for the next term. Is there any other members who wish to be the president? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. So without any further ado, our next president will be Ayu Anathia, all the way from Bali. How about that? A small club in Roseburg, Oregon, with a president from Bali.
Thank you.
I think I can safely say that our club is in great hands for the next term. Our next position is VPE, Vice President of Education, who sets the agenda and makes sure that, or assures that all the members are doing their pathway speeches. Who would like to be the Vice President of Education for the next term for RSS?
Mr. President, I do.
All right, we have Yasmin who has stepped up to be the VPE. Is there any other members who would like to challenge her for this important position? Going once, going twice. Sold to the woman from India. Check that out. You starting to see a pattern? President from Bali, VPE from India, international flavor. I love it. We are in great hands. Thank you very much. The next position, Vice President of Membership. I know that there is a member who would like this position. I do not see that she's here yet. I know that Shilpa, I will nominate Shilpa. I know that she wants this position. Is there any other member who would like to be the Vice President of Membership? Well, in that case, then we will go ahead and designate Shilpa as our VPE for the next term. Another woman from India who lives in Brussels. So now we've got India, Bali, and Europe. Let's move on to VPPR, Vice President of Public Relations, who currently is Federico, who's done a fantastic job with his Instagrams. Who would like to be the VPPR for the next term?
I'll do that, Tiger.
Okay, so now we have Amy, who would like to be VPPR. Is there anybody else who would like that position? Going once, twice. Sold to the woman from Ireland for 1 pint of Guinness. Next will be our secretary. And again, there is a woman from Maryland who has volunteered to be our secretary. Mary, is there anybody else who would like to take on the secretary role? Going once, going twice. Okay, then Mary Pearson will assume the role of secretary. We have to have at least one American in there, right? Just kidding. Treasurer. Michelle is currently our treasurer. Who is willing to take on the role of treasurer for the next term? Of course, you realize you have to send me $100 every month. Michelle says she's willing. Michelle, are you willing to take that role on again? Okay, excellent. So I can assume that my $100 a month will continue to feed into my account. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to be the secretary? Alice is shaking her head going, no, I don't want to.
Treasurer. Mr.
Treasurer.
Treasurer, money. Okay, so Michelle is the treasurer for the next term. And the SAA. Is there anybody here that would like to be the SAA for the next term? Okay, I have been informed from Melva in Indonesia that she would like to assume the role of SAA. Is there anybody here? Alice, no? You want to let Melva take that on? Okay, so we will go ahead and assign Melva as the SAA. So we will have our secretary. Let me run down through that real quick. The president is IU. VPE is Yasmin. VPM is Shilpa. VPPR is Amy. Secretary Mary Pearson. Treasurer Michelle. And the SAA will be Melva. Now, I don't know if anyone else noticed or not, but there is a lot of estrogen on that leadership team. This is an excellent group of women, and I am excited. I will be the immediate past president. As I believe this, I think it is easy to say. Well, it's not easy to say, obviously, because I'm tongue twisted. I would like to say RSS is in great hands. Thank you, everybody, for stepping up to the plate and taking on an important role. Let's get on with today's show. Thank you, Dawn. I'm back. And now I am a Toastmaster. You guys are going to be sick of me by the end of today, let me tell you. So let's get right on with the meeting. Let's get into our first speaker. No, actually, before that, let us hear from our timer. Can you share with us what devices you're going to be using for your timing today? And I believe this is for Jim?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, as I time, I will provide 3 signals. The first signal will be a green background, and I need to get back on there. Okay, first will be a green background that will show up for the speaker. It will show up at 10 minutes because the timing is 10 to 15 minutes. For table topics, it will be at 1 minute. For evaluations, it will be at 2 minutes. And then the yellow signal will show that you are halfway towards your finish time. So basically, if the green shows up, you've spoken long enough and you can stop at any point. Yellow shows up, you're getting close to finish, you need to wrap up. So yellow will be at 12 minutes for our speaker, at 1 minute 30 seconds for table topics, and at 2 minutes 30 seconds for evaluations. Then the red will appear to say that you are done and you need to finish. For the speaker, that will be at 14 minutes. For the table topics, it will be at 2 minutes. For evaluations, that will be at 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, sir, for that detailed and very clear timers report. Let us move on to our counter of the day, who is soon to be president, but not yet. Ayu, will you please give us a short rundown of what you are going to be looking for today as the grammarian? Excuse me, not the counter, the grammarian.
Hello, everyone. Today I will be your grammarian, and our word of the day is, I will just put it in the chat, is transition. As our theme for today is a new beginning. So our word of the day is transition. I encourage everyone to use this word as many as we can. And the definition of transition is a change from one form to another, or the process by which this happens. And the example in the sentence is, the healthcare system is in transition at the moment. Or the second sentence, we can say, Roseburg speaker and storytellers is in transition to a new beginning and a new EXCO roles. My job today will be taking note of beautiful language usage that used by any speaker, and counting word of the day to whoever say it. And the third one is, if there are any grammatical mistake or any mispronunciation, and I will say it and report at the end of the meeting when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Ayu. So use the word transition in your efforts today, if you would please. A new beginning. I love it. I love spring. Spring in Oregon is always great. I love seeing the flowers. Spring always brings hope. Let us move on to our counter, who is, I believe, our guest from India, Chopin. Chopin, is that how you, Chopin?
Yeah, it's Shobhan.
Chopin.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give us a brief description of what you intend to do today as the counter.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Next, what I was coming to talk was, does this sound good? Never try to use again. And these syllables are meant to use for only a short duration to make your speech a beautiful one. So keep an eye on that. Don't worry. I'll too make a note of it. Not only that, the repetitions of word like, I would also like to make a lot of things because I like them and you also should like them. In this, you have 3 lives. Don't ever try using it because these words can be replaced by many new words. That's how you learn. And that's why we are here. So my role is to make note of the unwanted syllables, repeated words, and furthermore, let's start it and I will be watching. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much for that enthusiastic and detailed description of the odd counter. There is one rule in RSS. The odd counter does not count the ahs and ums and you knows and you likes and those things from the president or the Toastmaster. Just letting you know. Let's move on to our first speaker. From Ireland, our new VPPR. This is a speech from the Dynamic Leadership Level 4. This is a 10 to 15 minute speech. The question and answer session. Amy, I turn the virtual podium over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Toastmaster of the day. Imagine a place from your past, somewhere where you have fond memories. I invite you to close your eyes and go there now. Hear the sounds, smell the smells, take in the colors, the objects, and the scenery. Let these memories and feelings stay with you during the speech. I will come back to this at a later part in the speech. Good morning, Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I am fascinated with the idea of creating connection with these fond memories and feelings and drawing them into our homes. I am an interior designer, and today I'd like to talk to you about creating connection in the home. Creating connection with others, creating connection with nature, and creating connection with self. Throughout this speech, I will give you tips on ways that you can create connection in your home through each of these. To begin, why is it important to create connection with others in the home? I don't know about the rest of you, but the last year has involved a lot of disconnection. And for myself, it has been really difficult to get by not being connected with others. Now, we can do it when we go out in the street. We could say hi to people, wave, connect, chat, call. Doing it in the home can be simple too. Doesn't matter if you live alone or if you live with other people. Find a space where other people and yourself can gather together. In this space, try not to have any clutter. Clutter can be distracting and it can make people feel anxious. Intentionally create a space that's clear and inviting. In my old home in London, we had a really small kitchen. So we used to use fold-out chairs. And when all the flatmates would come back and we were all in the house together, we'd pull out all the chairs, sit down and catch up with each other. This allowed us to connect. If anyone here has a special place in their home that allows for connection, please share it with us all in the chat and we can talk about it at the end of the speech. Creating connection to nature. When we are in our homes, sometimes we can feel a little disconnected from nature. And especially if anyone here lives in a city, it can really feel like we're disconnected. Having nature or the outdoors brought into your home can reduce stress and anxiety and help with our well-being. To bring nature into the home can be really simple. I can't see anyone here at the moment, but apart from Tiger's virtual screen, but a really simple one is having plants in your home, bringing in more plants, bringing in more green. Another thing can be clearing away in front of your windows so more natural light can come in. And if you have desks, if you're working from home, or even with your table and chairs, try to orientate them so you're looking out the window and you can bring in more of the greens, the sky, the sea. Other little tips can be having paintings or pictures of landscapes, trees, and planting. Can also, biophilia is really popular, and this means that we get beautiful soft furnishings with natural prints on them now. So you can bring in loads of soft furnishings, loads of natural prints there. Final one is connection with self. How does enhancing connecting to self sound to people? Does it sound good, bad, indifferent? Good, good. When I used to live in the city, I would get so stressed and tense. And to be honest, I live in the countryside now, and I still get stressed and tense. It just seems that life can be like that. We can't hide from it. But what we can do is intentionally carve out space in our home for ourselves. In this space, again, avoid clutter. And remember at the beginning of the speech, I asked you to go to a place where you had fond memories. If you can draw qualities from that place and bring them in to this space that you're creating. If you can bring, if it's imagery, you can do this through landscape, pictures, photography again, that connect with the memory, or you could take a dominant color and introduce that into your space through soft furnishings, through color art, or you could even give your walls a lick of paint. Go on. Treat yourselves to your own special haven. I have baths, and now it's just a regular bath. But when I am creating a space for myself, I light all these candles and I have oils and smells burning, and I intentionally create a sanctuary for myself to unwind. I'm also from beside the sea, so water's really calming for me. If anyone here has a place where they like to connect to themselves in their home, I see Jim has already reached out. I really encourage everyone else to share spaces. So if anyone has a space that they connect in their homes to themselves, their quiet space for themselves, please share it with us in the chat and we can talk about it at the end of the speech. There is an item that threads through each of these points that I've discussed. And that item is creating space with intention. When we intentionally create spaces, this allows for connection. It'd be really great if we could all have interior designers come into our homes and scheme and plan out and create intentional spaces. The reality is that's not a priority for most people. I hope with the few tips that I've shared with you today that it can allow each of you to become your own interior designer, and that you can intentionally carve out space in your home for connection to others, connection to nature, and connection to self. Thank you. Oh, Ayu?
Amy, I will have a question for you.
Yes.
I heard something about cur- is what is your opinion when clearing the clutter and just make a space? It means that we don't need a lot of goods surround us.
Mm.
I mean, is that the emptiness? Is that the only things to do this? To connect with self, to connect with ourselves? Is this the only way? Do do you think that other if I mean we can do as what we normally have, or it
Yeah.
has to be empty?
No, it doesn't. No, I know what you're speaking from, and there is a lot to with that. It's more when there's excess in the house, when there's too much, and when it becomes chaos. So say you have like a bookcase and everything's shoved in and it's too much, and when you look at it you kind of cringe a little bit. That's so the idea there is get rid, pull back, and just, but you don't have to get rid of everything. It's about you keep what you love, keep what you cherish, because that's important to us. It's important to us to have these items that like we connect with, but just having order to it, and have it just order and creating spaces. So create intentional spaces for the items you have, and don't let them get on top of you. You stay on top of everything that you have. So that's really when the issues arrive, when the spaces are making you feel uncomfortable. That's when you know you need to pull back and organize. Yasmin?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amy, thank you very much for a very interesting subject. You speak about three things like connecting with others, connecting with nature, and connecting with self. And you talk about creating intentional spaces for these three. Do we always need to identify or differentiate space for these three, like thinking of these three as different? Or is there a way that one space could act for all the three, like where you can sort of hybrid the same space where you can connect with the nature, the self, and the others? What is your advice as an interior designer? Would you suggest us to have different spaces, or sort of integrate and see if there is a possibility to have one space which can fit in three?
It's a great question. Thank you, Yasmin. We can really have, so with connecting with nature, that's something you can have throughout the whole space. That's encouraged. You can have that everywhere. Where it's useful to separate is more when you are intentionally getting a use out of it. So what comes to mind is the idea of, if you have a quiet place that you want for yourself, or even say you have your bedroom or somewhere where you want to, like, that's your space. It can be important to keep that as your special space, because that, like, our mind does little patterns and connects, does little mapping. So if you want to have a place that you go to wind down, to switch off, it's good to have those separate spaces. When you're having a space, again, that kind of applies, but when you're connecting with others, it is going to be in a more social area. Although in saying this, you could be in a space that has all of this in one room, because that is the reality, like we get that. And it's just having the, like, mental maps in your mind that know that, like, a bed is more for sleep, like that's where you rest, or that's where you chill out. And then your seating area, this is your more social area and where you might eat and everything else. So the idea behind it is just like having those little codes so your mind connects into those spaces. I hope that answers your question. Thank you for that, Yasmin. And Shilpa? Hi.
Thanks, Amy, for enlightening us today. I would like to ask you that, is it okay? Is it advisable to restructure and reorganize your spaces from time to time if you feel stuck with something?
Yes, yeah, that's a great question too. Thank you, Shilpa. And I definitely encourage that. It's a thing that there's almost a little bit of reprogramming in our minds, because we would think of like, oh, I have to sort out things. And if we could change that to like, yes, I get to bring life back into my space. That goes back to this idea of us taking ownership of the space again. Don't let the space control you. Take ownership, make the calls, pull back in those spaces. I hope that answers your question. I really quickly want to just go to the 3 people that shared our spaces. Jim, you get to connect outdoors on the deck. I love that. That was a really beautiful place. And you're drawing in the outdoors there as well. So that's really special. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Yasmin, your balcony under a neem tree. Oh, that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Again, I love that these are all tied in with nature. And the final one, Shilpa, a little corner in the floor with a jute mat and natural furnishings. Yeah, so really interesting that the nature's tied into all of these. Anyways, we naturally connect and want to spend more time with nature. It's just part of us. It's wired into us. I've been on red for a bit now, so I will wrap it up. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the involvement. And I really hope everyone's been able to take something away from the speech today. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Amy. And did you notice that last question ties right into the theme of the day, a new beginning. Go reorganize. I did this in the kitchen. You ever notice that you go to do like one little thing? I went in the kitchen, I looked in the drawer, it was a mess. I spent 3 hours yesterday reorganizing things in the kitchen. It started with one thing. I looked in one drawer and all of a sudden it's 3 hours later and I had rearranged the whole kitchen and now I can't find anything. Our second speaker has shown up, but to give her a chance to get her, be able to breathe and relax, we're going to go ahead and jump into table topics and we will come back to her here in a little bit. Okay, Kanang? I'm going to go ahead and jump into table topics while you can prepare for your speech. So at this point, I will turn the meeting over to our table topics master, the very competent and charming Ram from the British Isles. It's all yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. So it's now time to make the transition from speeches to table topics. And as the theme of the day is new beginnings, so all the table topics will have something to do with new beginnings. So first, let's talk about spring. So spring is a time for new beginnings. The trees are growing new buds, the flowers are out. It's wonderful to be outside and see everything blooming. So my first question is, what do you love about spring? And that question goes to Sarvesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ram. Good morning, America. Good evening, India. Actually, there is so many time gaps between so many countries, so I can't define everything. Okay. What I got the question is, how will you enjoy the spring, or how will you define the spring season? Actually, I don't like the spring season at all, because in India, during the spring season, the sunlight falls on India too much. We will become black when we go out during those days. So I feel only rainy season, because it will be so cool and we can enjoy inside our house. So I don't like much of the spring season, but I like the rainy season the most. Thank you, and over to TT Master.
Thank you very much, Sarvesh. Yeah, it is slightly different in India because the hottest season is actually in the spring. April and May are the hottest months of the year, whereas in England and most other countries in the West, our hottest times are actually in the summer when it's a rainy season in India. So thank you very much. So the next question is, we're coming out of lockdown in the UK, and maybe in other places we're still in it, but what will you do when the world emerges from lockdown? And what new beginning will you make? Can I ask that to Federico, please?
Let's say that my main plan after the lockdown is to escape to one lake that I found in the south of Spain, where I'm living right now. That is a pink lake. There are only 4 lakes like this one all over the world. And well, the other one is under the Antarctica. So of course I cannot go under the ice. Maybe in a couple of years, if we don't take care of the planet, we will be able to visit it, but I don't think it's a good plan. We need to take care of our planet. And this strange lake that is pink is very unique because every Spanish that I have met is very, how to explain it? It's a very uncommon thing. All of them go to the seaside that is exactly next to the lake, just like, I don't know, 50 meters. And all of them go to the seaside that is Torrevieja. And none of them have ever noticed that there is a massive lake, a pink salty lake next to it that is more impressive than the seaside. And I was like, and it's just 50 meters from there. How is possible that you didn't notice? So my main plan is to escape to that place in Torrevieja that is like 5 hours from here, discover a completely different place, and maybe take pictures, let's say, not swimming, but floating on a pink lake, and I will share them with you. So you will discover a new place that you might have never seen in your life. Thank you, Ram.
Thank you very much, Federico. I'd love to see that place. So my next question is, talking about new beginnings, let's talk about it physically. What would you do to get a new beginning physically? And that question goes to Divya.
I think Divya is not here, Rem.
Oh, she's here. She's just, yeah, there she is.
If you don't mind, would you please repeat my question?
Yes, yeah, you need to increase your volume a little bit because it's quite low, but the question is, yeah, that's better. So the question is, to have a new what would you do to get a new beginning physically? Would you do some kind of exercise? What would you do to get a new beginning in a physical sense?
If I wanted to like a new beginning, assuredly I will just rather than I'll do travel first. Like if I wanted to be anything new, I do travel the first. Like it will be if physically new beginning. Like it will be even mentally too that refreshes ourselves, and surely traveling makes ourselves like refreshing ourselves, and it will be a transition from our daily living, and it will be surely a new beginning. And that's it, I think so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Divya. Okay, so the next question is, if you're going to have a new beginning and get a new home, what kind of home would you get and where? And that question goes to Michelle. Michelle there.
I suggest you call on a guest anyway, Ram, because she is the general evaluator.
All right, sorry, that's right. I'm sorry.
No,
yeah.
no worries.
Okay, yes. Can I have that question goes to Meshash? Meshach?
Yeah, thanks so much. Can I have the question for a second?
Yes, if you were to start a new beginning in a new home, where would it be and what would the new home be like?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, good evening or good day, beloved Toastmasters, my dear friends and the guests from the Oasis and from the India and all the world. It's a pleasure meeting you all. So, as I asked the question, if you want to make a home or new beginning, so what would be that place? Where would you reside or how you want to be like that? So basically, I have transferred from my native place, which is very down south of the tip corner of India. So I have resided in Pondicherry, which is an union territory, because my dad has a job to work here. So all these days, all these times, I just miss that situation of the place very much. I used to crawl down on the clay, climbing over the trees, eating some mangoes, climbing and trying to buy some coconut from the tree. And I used to have some naughty and silly friends who used to dive from a very high into the pond where I used to swim and enjoy and sing songs and do all those nasty stuffs in my childhood. It's a long day. It's a long year. It's a long month. I have been missing all those places. I miss my grandmother's good old biscuits. I miss my grandfather's good old stories. If I have something, if I have the chance to make my new beginning, to make my new home, I would surely go and reside with them. I would surely go and take care of them and give them back what they have given me. Thank you. Over to the tabletop master.
Thank you very much, Meshash. So the next question is, if you were to have a new beginning, you might want to have a new mindset. So if you were to start a new beginning with a new mindset, what new mindset would you have? And that question goes to Smriti.
Yeah, thank you, table topic master. To start a new beginning, I should have a very peaceful mindset, because peace gives us a chance to think well and go on to start with a new work. So for that, I will do some meditation. I can go with some yoga or some exercises to get a peace of mind. So after that, I can start with my work that gives that will end well. That's it. Thank you, and over to table topic master.
Thank you very much, Smriti.
Thank you, Ram. We're gonna have to move on. That was
okay.
That was exceptional. Thank you very much, and thank you all our participants. Thank you all our guests for participating. I would love to have another 15, 20 minutes of table topics personally. But at this point, we do have a second speaker. Kanang was able to get logged in and zoom in for us. This is her dynamic leadership level 1, research and presenting. The title of the speech is Education in a Developing Country. So Kanang, the virtual podium is all yours. And Shilpa, you are her evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, President Tiger, and dear fellow Toastmaster and most welcome guests today. I'm thrilled. I am giving my speech, presenting. Sorry, I'm going to say my slide. Education in a developing country. First, I should ask him why education is important. 10 benefits showing why education is important to our society. 1. Creating more empowerment opportunities. 2. Securing a higher income. 3. Developing problem-solving skills. 4. Improving the economy. 5. Providing a prosperous and happy life. 6. Giving back to the community. 7. Creating modern society. And 8. Bridging the borders. 9. Creating equal opportunities. 10. Introducing empowerment. So, would anybody ever want to hear the other meaning for the benefit of education? If you do, you can raise your hand. Okay, if there is nobody, I'm going to the next slide. Education in Cambodia. For Cambodia today, take the right action on education is currently the main point for improving standard education toward a quality outcome. Why I'm saying that like this? Because Cambodia right now is a developing country, and the big problem, the main problem in this country is about education. To improve education, we have to take the right action. The right action, where we get the right action? We can get the right action from the teachers. So, take the right action on education is really important. You said data shows that in 2011, primary school enrollment reached 96% of the child population. Lower secondary school, 34%, and upper secondary, 21%. Yeah, from Wikipedia.org, everybody can search there. This is, I want to explain why that at the primary school, there are a high person. It means that there are a lot of children went to school. But at the secondary school, the person low. It's because there are many math problems for the children from their parents, from the environment. Yes, that's why the children go to the secondary school is low than the primary school. Most Cambodian villages have a primary school, but they are not complete and do not offer a full 1 to 6 grade curriculum. Cambodian children face greater difficulty in the pursuit of a higher level of education because secondary schools are in less than 10% of the villages. Only 5.4% of Cambodian villages have a lower education, have a lower secondary school, and only 2% of them have an upper secondary school. Students can only pursue higher education if they can afford the fees. Therefore, worthless education becomes incredible to the bulk of potential pupils. The percentage of population in each group attending an educational institution is shown in table, indicating that only approximately 14.37% of the population can afford to pursue tertiary early education, as you see in this table. However, my own idea still focus that to get the right information for improving standard education in Cambodia toward a quality outcome is really important. So we must listen to the children's voice. Why we have to listen to children's voices? Because children's voice are the right key to solve the problems related to them directly. As my two children, young children, they answer very nice when they met me because I listen to them. I listen to their voice, so they trusted me. So our communication, our relationship, so friendly. That's why I can give a good education to them because we have a good relationship. In school, one thing that we are expecting from our hard work on educating children is the education quality outcome. All we try so hard at school and everything we do for education is only to get the quality outcome, the quality of education. What the quality? The quality is the student that achieve the goal from the education. Like they have a good morality, they have the ability to work, they have a leadership style in their life, and they are kind to the other and themselves. I would go back to the previous slide and I still thinking about my little two children and the children. They told me that, teacher, we are loved teachers and every teachers because when the teachers are focus their attention to us and they listen to us, so it's make me happy because I got the right information from them. Sometimes I seem like so happy. So now we turn to the NGOs in Cambodia. There are a lot of NGOs in Cambodia come to help. A lot of NGOs in Cambodia like Plan, Room to Read, UNICEF. Now I want to give the role of NGOs. There is a significant presence in Cambodia of school, bill, and continuous turn by overseas supporters and of education support NGO that assist with training, resources, and funding. The role of this NGO is significant to the extent that the Minister of MOEYS is on public record as saying that the input of this NGO is an integral part of the education strategy, and that without the NGOs, the government would be unable to reach its education target. The relationship between MOEYS and the NGO sector is integral to the 2010 Education Strategy Plan, which started as an objective. This is me with my friend.
Time.
Oh.
Time.
Okay. say thank you. Now I finished my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanang, for that very informative and educational speech. Let's move on to the evaluation phase of our meeting. I will now turn the meeting over to our general evaluator. Michelle, please assume the virtual podium and take over.
Okay, thank you very much, Tiger. I seem to have gotten my clubs mixed up. I thought with RSS, it was still the Toastmaster who would introduce the evaluators, but regardless. So I am going to call upon the evaluator for our first speaker. I am glancing very quickly, but it looks like the evaluator has not labeled himself or herself. May I call upon the evaluator for our first speaker to come forward, the mystery evaluator, the evaluator for Amy.
Thank you very much, Michelle. It's Yasmin here.
There you are, perfect, Yasmin. Take it away.
Thank you very much. It was the Dynamic Leadership Level 4 speech from Amy, Connecting Spaces. Wow, what a project. Dynamic Leadership Level 4, 15 minutes to engage audience and have questions, answers. Weren't we all enjoying the session? Do you all agree? It was like 15 minutes spent like 15 seconds. If so, please raise your hands. And all these raised hands goes to you, Emmy. Congratulations. Congratulations indeed. I know 15 minutes is a very long time, and to have a topic which cannot engage audience for 15 minutes is in an interactive way is indeed a good, very well done job. Emmy, I marked a couple of stars for you. If I have to give you 7 stars, where am I gonna give it? So it goes to your very poised and calm style. Very calmly, you handle the questions like a pro, like a professional, giving very good time to each and every question until the audience is satisfied. You thank them for the question, you answer them like a pro, and then you sort of, again towards the end, make it interesting, saying some note for the speaker. I must congratulate you for not making your fillers. I remember I was the one who gave you the queen of fillers. And today I was like, where is the queen gone? Absolutely no filler usage. So very well done, Emmy. You have really controlled your filler words. I really liked the structure of the speech as well. You really laid out 3 topics very well clearly, connecting to self, to nature, and to others. Very relevantly done. And it is said that the speech is won in the first 30 seconds. So the first 30 seconds when you captured the audience with your starting, like, okay, close your eyes, connect with us, and then I'm gonna ask later, why am I here? So you really did good at the starting. Oh my God, encouraging people to chat, but not only to chat, to monitor the chat. It's challenging when you have to simultaneously also keep an eye on the chat. So very well done, Amy, on that. And smart move by preparing the champions in advance. You knew you need some champions who can come up with the questions. So reaching them out, smart move, Amy. Where I want to see you improve. Well, I like the way when you introduce the book Biophilia for something like nature, but when you were talking about nature connecting to self, I wanted to see more visuals. If I may encourage you to have some presentations or visuals which could really make the audience feel a little bit more, we will be really glad to have that, and that's a challenge to you. I found you sort of laying more emphasis on how to create the space. But wouldn't it be nice if we will also discuss a bit about why is it nice, why and how? So bring it a little bit more balance on both the aspects. Why is important and how we do it. And with this, I'll just a last point of suggestion, smart way to end would be not to say, okay, I see a red or something, but to smartly say, okay, time, I know it's an interesting topic, time is limiting, let's continue our chat, but maybe I'll have to sort of close it here, or in a nicer way, just not, saying, pointing it out at the timer. With these very small contributions from my side, I'm sure you're going to take it to the next level. Thank you indeed, Emmy, and I give it back to the general evaluator.
Wow, thank you so much, Yasmin. Truly a champion evaluation. I really liked how you were positive and encouraging and also very specific. And now we move on from one excellent evaluator to another. Let us welcome Shilpa to evaluate our second speaker, Kunan. Over to you, Shilpa.
Thank you, Michelle. Kanang, I would like to congratulate on this speech. You are at the end of your level 1. Researching and presenting is always an important speech. You have so much to cover. And you chose a topic that was close to your heart, that is still close to your heart, also very relevant. It gives a fresh perspective to us from other parts of the world that why at all education is so important for a developing nation. I relate to it totally, and many of us are products of a good education system in our respective countries. Thank you for highlighting that. You had a lot of material today. In the beginning, you connected with the audience, asking them a question. Just if you had taken a little pause there for people to give it a thought or answer or raise their hand and then moved on, it would have been even better. What I really liked, there are many points that I liked in this speech, is you showed the data, important part of research. You backed up with graphs, tables, and your own pictures. What your own pictures with the kids did was made it more relatable to us. We could see a face that we relate to it in all that data. Now, to make it more, make it create a bigger impact, what you could have done is just taken the key points out of that data and put it on the slide. Like just say that 10%, make 10% in bold, less than 10% villages have schools in Cambodia. Less than 5.4 have higher education institutes. So highlight the data on the speech and not put everything on the slides there. You can just give your speech and we'll see the main points on the slides. The other thing that would, so make your slides less busier. That is my first recommendation. I also like that what you explained us, what is a quality education? When you said that quality education, we needed to listen at what actually does means to us. You provided a solution by saying that listen to the children's voice. Like you heard to the children's voice. You showed us that you had that connection with the children and how and why that was important. So you provided us with the solution. So all in all, I would say a very good and a very well-researched speech that you presented today. Keep your slides concise. Do not focus on too many things. That way you will be able to be in a better control of the speech and make it shorter. Way to go, Konang. Keep working on your presentation skills. Thank you for this speech. Back to you, Michelle.
Yes, and thank you, Shilpa. Another excellent evaluation. You cited specific good points, you cited specific recommendations, and then you wrapped up. Excellent. We now move on to our other reporters. Let us call in Ayu to tell us how we use the English language and the word of the day. Over to you, Ayu.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I will have to say congratulations, Roseburg speaker and storytellers, and all our guests from India, that we do really use a good English today. There's not so many pronunciation mistake and grammatical mistake. I do have take notes for several good language. I like the play of words, like what Amy say, smell the smell. I smell the smell. That is like, I like that kind of playing words. And then she was saying something like creating connection at home, nature, and self. That sentence only is actually giving us all the big picture about what she will say, and still here in my mind, connecting, creating connection. Now I would like to ask everybody who was talking about eating mango, dive into ponds and miss his grandparents. Anyone remember who's talking about eating mango? Abirani, you are still muted.
Toastmaster Meshak.
Yes, Meshak was saying that. So thank you for listening to our speakers. Then I have Kunang saying that good teacher. This is not what Kunang say exactly, but the essence of Kunang, what Kunang tried to say to us, that if teachers have a good relationship with students, then the result is student tends to learn better. So that this is a good point, Kunang. Thank you. And the last things that I put here, I love what Silpa said in her evaluation. This is a good thing that it was great. It would have been even better when. So this sentence, I will steal that, Silva, for my next evaluation, because it's really something that encourage the speaker to do better. From Yasmin, I only said, wow, queen of filler. Yasmin, you are really good in giving people these things. How to say that? Maybe labels, but yes, she is now no more, not a queen of filler anymore. So congratulations, Amy. Well, that's all my report. And last, I just would like to say thank you, Jim, for being our timer. Back to you, Michelle. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Madame Grammarian. You covered other points, not just the grammar, and that is excellent. Let us now hear from our accounter, a guest all the way from India. Let's welcome Shoban.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and I'm back again. Hope the meeting was excellent. First of all, kudos to all the speakers who spoke today. It was pinpoint everywhere. But for me, it's the most prior duty to hear like a hawk. Sorry, hawk watch. A grammatical mistake. Sorry, madam, are you? Now, I will say where are few of the counts where I made. For the first speaker, coming to Amy, she used the repetitive word of connection. Though she made a lot of connection, the connections were connected by the word connection. Next, she also used the word, she also used thrice as and a few pauses. No problem, but it was indeed an excellent speech. Coming up to the table topics, we had few words used by us table topic speakers, like the filler words are, and also they were using the words like. Better not use it on future because it can be an extraordinary one when it is contained into it. And for Kunang, an extraordinary speech, but the pace of the speech was a bit slow and the pauses were a bit high, but it was very much beautiful. That's all is the report. Over to Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. And now very quickly, because we are running short on time, let's call our timer to tell us how we use time. Jim, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Our first speaker, Amy, asked for 10 to 15 minutes. I'll note that your initial speech was 8 minutes, almost 8 minutes exactly, 8 minutes, 1 second. Then your transition to the Q&A ended the entire speech at 15:20. Our table topic speakers, 3 of them were under time. So Sarvesh was at 49 seconds. Divya was at 50 seconds, and Smriti was at 29 seconds. The others were within the 1 to 2 minutes. Our second speaker, Kanang, was stopped by the Toastmaster at 10 minutes, 30 seconds. It asked for 5 to 7 minutes, so you probably want to break that into 2 or 3 speeches. Our evaluators, our first evaluator, Yasmin, was a little bit over at 3:58, and Shilpa was at 3:26. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Jim, for doing that in 1 minute and 11 seconds. And I am going to do a general evaluation in 2 minutes. First of all, excellent Toastmaster of the day. I love the transition between the soon-to-be immediate past president and Toastmaster, including the coat, the suit change. As immediate past president to be soon, great way of doing the election. She did it under 7 minutes, very impressive. Couple of suggestions. It would have been even shorter if you presented all the nominees at the start, and then as you hit each role, just ask for any other nominees and then move on. You might have done that in a couple of minutes less. Amy, I love the professional manner of your speech. You had a beautiful frame background, which was a tremendous improvement from early on when you started your online speaking. I've already commented on the evaluators. Both are excellent. We are becoming, I believe, a club with a reputation for having excellent evaluation. The grammarian, as I already commented, gave general comments as well. Our timer guest, Jim, thank you for staying on time and being very precise with your evaluation. Shoban, I didn't catch too many reports on the account, but hey, how can you catch something that's not there, right? I believe our word of the day was transition. Didn't hear too many uses of it. I'm trying to hit as many as I can, but that's all I can do, I guess. Let me see what else. Well, this is a great opportunity to showcase international membership and international composition. So I'm looking forward to our next meeting and returning back to our Toastmaster at 1 minute and 55 seconds. Back to you, Tiger.
Thank you very much for that efficient general evaluation. And because of that, we're actually on time. Election, 2 speakers, table topics, and we made it. Thank you so much, everybody, for another wonderful meeting. I appreciate all our guests, and I would greatly appreciate if you would stick around so we can get comments after the meeting. Thank you to all our members, of course. You guys are the best. I am so excited for RSS. Our future is in great hands. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and officially end this meeting. Please stick around afterwards so we can get comments from guests and members. And on 3, 1, 2, 3.